Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 105 of my Sims Let's Play. So as you can see, I finally reached a nice amount of quartz dust and quartz crystals. So today, I'm gonna finally start doing some applied energistic stuff. Let me just quickly keep you guys up to date on what's been happening off screen, mainly bee related stuff. So those bees, my Precantio bee and my Solemn Queen, kind of died a couple of times and changed their cycles. It's like 2 cycles ahead or 3 cycles ahead. And they finally lost one of their properties, which was tolerance towards heat. So you can see I now connected a fan here and another fan back there. So now those 2 alvearies are working, with the Solemn Queen without any problem. Same for the Precantio Queen, and my other bees are working as well just as fine. And one other note, somebody told me that growing silverwood trees will generate some pure nodes, and I do have some silverwood saplings, and I do plan to get to dealing with some pure nodes eventually, so I think it will be a good idea to try and plant them nearby where I'm planning to have some the ore node. So let's I have 2 on me. Should get, I don't know if bone meal works on silverwood trees. I have a feeling it doesn't. And actually when you grow them, they also kind of clean the area out of flux, so it's probably kind of a good thing to do. Alright, so I have a feeling I cannot apply bone meal to a silverwood tree. Yeah, I don't know if it will even grow here. What are the requirements? But let's just leave the trees here, see if and when they eventually grow, and will net me a nice amount of aura, hopefully. Alright, let's get started with applied energistics. Alright, so as you can see in my NEI, I already filtered out everything applied energistics related, and I think that should help me quite a lot. Now remember that I did play a little bit with it on my test world, but I'm still not 100%. So hopefully there won't be too many mistakes, but it should be fine in theory. Alright, so let's have a brief introduction on what applied energistics is. In a very general idea, is basically turning your storage to the next level of storage, letting you have a lot more accessibility, a lot more control, and obviously a lot more storage as well. It basically works on, instead of storing items into barrels, or into chests or barrels, it stores them as information on data disks. So you can see there are 4 levels of data disks. There is the 1K, 60K, 16K, 64K, and 4K. For some reason it's not in the right order. And all of them, you can see the information about them. There are 63 types, meaning each of those disks can contain 63 different types of items. And each has 16, basically the appropriate amount of bytes for storage. Now, the storage isn't always 1-for-1, meaning for example, 1 diamond isn't 1 byte of storage. It's kind of exponentially, meaning the first diamond will be a lot more storage, and the next one will be a lot less. Well, not the next one, but eventually the amount of bytes per item goes down. So a full barrel, which is 65,000, basically this number, will actually, in theory, should take less bytes of storage than the actual amount of items. Well, I'm gonna get to it and get started. Alright, and all of that is basically, everything that I said is basically at the cost of energy. Now, energy can be either buildcraft energy or industrial craft energy, and to begin with, I'm gonna start using industrial craft. You can see, obviously, I disconnected my recycler here and move it back to my HV solar factory world. You can either use buildcraft or industrial craft. They convert at different rates, and that rates, I don't even know what they are, but as far as I know, buildcraft energy is supposedly a lot more efficient, like 1 buildcraft energy worth more than 1 industrial craft energy unit. but the exact numbers I'm not really sure about. Alright, so let's get started. Let's start having some examples. Let's start with the most basic chest, the ME chest. So the recipe is glass, iron, a chest, and this thing. So let's first get everything else apart from this thing. So chest, and some glass, iron, and let's see. Now I'm going to start using quartz, and basically in quartz dust, the two new materials that, two new world gen stuff that I need. So I'm going to need 2 quartz crystals and some redstone, and I'm also going to need this thing. So I'm going to need, I guess, to cook something, which is this thing. I'm also going to need silicon, so I'm going to need to start cooking quartz dust to get some silicon. I don't know how much silicon do I need, because I only have about 2 stacks of both. Alright, so it creates those things. Oh, you can also create some things on the assembly table. You can use Buildcraft. It's seemingly cheaper, less redstone. It doesn't require the tool, but it requires that 60,000 Minecraft joules, or I don't know, that I don't think it's worth it. Okay, what are the other uses for dust? This is something I don't need, this is something I do need, and silicon basically. Now the quartz fiber is, or actually, do I really need that? Basically quartz doesn't seem to be that useful. I can compress it into crystals, but that's it. Alright, let's just start cooking it. And let me continue just mumbling about it. If you ever used logistics pipes in previous versions of Minecraft, that mod is actually kind of heavily, I don't want to say copied from logistics pipes, but the idea here is very much inspired by logistics pipe. That will be the good way to say it. Because it lets you automatically craft, automatically sort, automatically get things. Everything is available to you. And the nice thing about it is logistics pipes are kind of a Buildcraft add-on that interacts with your current storage, say connected to your chest, connected to other things, and it will automatically supply and interact with those chests. Applied Energistics can interact with inventories, but overall it's kind of its own inventory. It's this entire giant system of its own inventory, its own storage, and it's a very nice thing to have, I think. Of course, remember that everything is at the cost of energy, so it's kind of pricey to make. It requires a lot of iron, a lot of diamonds, a lot of everything, and also you need energy to make it. That's the balance. Here, this is where the balance comes in. And in logistics pipes, when you create the logistics pipes themselves have a high cost, but there are no maintenance costs. Like once you make it, it's yours. So that's the difference. Alright, I'm going to need this thing, a quartz cutting knife. So let's get some quartz crystals and some sticks. I really hope that the amount of crystals that I have right now is enough to actually do something. Alright. So I'm going to make one of those, and I'm going to make one of those. Oh, I don't have gold. Let's get gold. Okay, and basic processor assembly, and that takes durability. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a hands-off from Red Power and those kind of things, and now it needs to be cooked. So let's cook it. Quickly replace this. And start cooking the dust again. So I have more of those silicon. This gives me the ME basic processor. And this gives me the conversion matrix. And this gives me the ME chest. Nice. Okay, let's go to sleep for a second. Ooh, 1 tree grew. Nice. Alright. So when you create a normal chest, you simply place it in the world and expect to interact with it, because that's what you would expect. You get a chest, you can store stuff inside it. However, Applied Energistics works differently. When you place it in the world, you can't do anything with it. it seems to be, you can access the chest, but you cannot store anything, you cannot place anything. Even this little lightish gray inventory slot seems to be unavailable because this is not the way it works. You actually need to supply it with energy, so you can do something like this. However, it still doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? Because you need also storage. And storage are those data disks. So I'm gonna create, right off the bat, I'm gonna create the largest. Ooh, actually, I don't think do we want to do that? I want right off the bat to create the best type of storage. What is this? Oh, I have a feeling I'm gonna need a lot of quartz. A lot of quartz. My plan is to replace everything here with the Applied Energistics storage, but just looking at the way the recipes are made, this is gonna be far from enough. So the largest 64K storage requires 3 of those storage blocks, which I guess create this. Those 3 require those 3, which I assume create this. And those 3 require those 3, which I assume create this. And this requires quartz. And I'm gonna need a lot of ME basic processing unit. Ooh, a lot. Okay, let's get started, see when I get stuck. Let's simply start placing the recipe in the world and see what happens. So I'm gonna keep forgetting the recipes a lot here. Redstone on the sides, gold here, and this in here. Is there any other use for this thing except for cooking it? Nope. So let's. Okay, let give it a second. Okay, so actually while it's cooking, let's also start creating some some cables. Now, ME cables are created. You're gonna need quartz fiber and redstone. Now, the way Applied Energistics systems work, just like red power, for example, when you place nearby electricity blocks nearby, blocks that require electricity, they simply move the electricity around without any problem whatsoever. This is kind of works the same way with Applied Energistics. When you place 2 similar blocks to each other, they move energy between them and they also connect in between them. And all the different blocks do different things and they all can connect to each other, but you can also use cables. Cables are like the simplest way of connecting things together. They require the least amount of energy. The more energy, the more blocks you have in the system, the more energy it consumes, and it also consumes more per block. Like one, for example, the storage monitor will take, I don't know, 5 units per tick, and the ME cable will only take 1. This is basically the cheapest way to connect systems together. I'm going to need a couple of those, I assume. So I'm going to need some redstone and quartz fiber, so that's quartz dust and glass. Quartz dust I do not have. Let's get some of those, and some red power. Now I'm not going to need a lot of cable. Let's create like half a stack or something. So 32 seems good enough, and let's create the recipe. So that's give me 32 ME cable. Alright, this should have gone, yeah, it's finished. Let's see, you know what, let's create the simplest form of storage. Let's create just one of it as well. So let's create the 1K storage. So one storage cell is created with quartz, redstone, and this thing that I just made. So let's create, what am I doing wrong? I'm out of redstone. Also going to need some more glass. Okay, so this thing, well, just create one for now, even though probably there is nothing better for me to do with this. Let's quickly, let's make sure. What can I do with quartz crystals? I can make the tools. I don't know how good they are. I need the cutting knife, but I already made one. Different tools, weapons. Well, I'm gonna need them for the conversion matrix. I don't know what this is. A wireless booster. ME blank pattern. Some... this is a good thing to have. The ME controller. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna need... Oh, a quartz wrench. I guess I'm gonna need that as well. You know what, let's make it quickly. I assume that it will be the equivalent tool to all the different wrenches. Although, you know what? Maybe should I quickly... Can I create the Omni wrench right now? The Omni wrench is a specific tool added by one of the mods that's supposed to be replacing every other type of wrench. And I haven't made that. I don't know why. Let's quickly make it. So 2 diamonds, 1 gold, and a specific colored Omni wrench, it seems. Specific colored wool. And this gives me this. Let's again see, it can replace the crescent hammer, I believe. There we go. It can replace well, it replaces the crescent hammer. That's already good. Can already get rid of 1 item in my inventory to make it pay for it. Can it replace this wrench as well? This should be rotating this, and this does as well. So I just wasted a little bit of quartz, but okay. This is the price of progress. Okay. It's most likely can replace... can it replace... Yeah, replace this as well, and there is no lossless mode. I don't know if it's even relevant. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this in here anyway. Okay. Getting sidetracked here. So let's quickly get my NEI setup again. So by the way, you in order to do what I just did, you get to item subsets, mods, shift, left click, and you get this kind of thing. Alright, so I'm gonna again go for the most basic storage, which gives me, I already made one actually, I don't need it anymore. And let's make it. Okay, so you take that thing and you place it in the top right corner here. Now you see suddenly this isn't grayed out. Now let's take a look here. Let's have a stack of glass inside. So right now I have 0 bytes, 0 types. If I place 1 stack of glass here, suddenly you can see it takes 16 bytes and 1 type is taken. Let's see, let's get a bunch of cobblestone, see how that interacts with it. The best material to test stuff with, cobblestone. Okay, so if I dump another stack in here, suddenly it's 32 bytes and 2 types of storage. If I dump another stack, first, it doesn't take space as you would expect it. It all stacks into this one icon. And now you see instead of 16, it took like, what, 8? It took only half. Okay, so let's dump another stack inside here. So now it only took 8 again. Let's dump another stack. Another 8 again. Okay, so I guess it was changed since I last played with it. It doesn't get smaller exponentially. It seems to be the first stack costs 16 and then it goes lower. Oh, close enough. Okay, in order to get things out, left clicking gets you a stack, right clicking gets you half a stack, shift left clicking just place it inside your inventory, shift right clicking gets you 1 item, and I think that's it. Yeah. And I guess you can also shift right click back in here. Alright. So this is the most basic way to interact with Applied Energistics, getting those chests, getting those storage units, and placing everything inside. However, this is very far from being where I want it to be. And by the way, doing all of this actually takes energy over time. If I, let's see, if I place some things in here, there you go. You can see that this geothermal generator suddenly spiked because it suddenly used 1 energy unit and the generator just refilled that empty hole. So, can probably, I think the more items it holds, the more energy it takes. Although an ME storage unit, ME storage chest is a very small thing and doesn't consume that much. Okay, let's move away from here. And my inventory is full. Starting to realize that probably the amount of quartz that I had is very far from being enough at that point in time. But we'll see. I may just have to stop midway. The problem is that what I want to do is replace everything here. No more barrels. and that thing, if I stop midway, I'm kind of in a bad situation. Okay, so I'm gonna start by creating the most simple, most basic type of network that you can have that contains. Let's see, I'm actually using the help of the wiki here. Applied Energistics has its own wiki. It's actually very, very good. You can use it if you want. The three basic types of blocks that you need for your network to work is a chest or an ME drive. And an ME drive is kind of, if one chest can hold one data storage disk, an ME drive can hold 10. So in terms of physical space in the world, one block for the cost of 10 blocks, and yeah, you can see where I'm going with it. So it's a very good thing. However, I'm just going to use the chest to begin with. The recipe actually is not that much more costly than this. It's actually even, I think, simpler to make in my mind. It skips that step, which, you know what, that's cheaper to make. This is crazy. I didn't actually expect that. Alright. Well, anyway, it requires some kind of a storage block, either the chest or the drive. It requires an access terminal, which is what you will access through to your entire thing. Where is it? Let's actually make it an ME access terminal. Let's quickly make it. So I'm going to need an iron ingot, another conversion matrix, and some glass. And also I'm going to need some cables. A good thing I met some. Let's start making it. So I'm going to need one of those. And basically that's it. And I can make the access terminal. Alright, and the last block, and actually the most important one, is something called the ME controller. The ME controller, you're only going to need one in your entire system. You're not going to need more than one, and actually, if you place more than one, you're going to have problems. So the ME controller is kind of the block that you don't interact with. This is the block you place energy into, and this is the block which is the brain of the entire thing. This is what controls everything, connects everything, makes everything works together. So I'm going to need one of this, I think that's it. Some silicon, yeah, okay, that's fine. So 2 redstone, this diamond, a silicon, and my quartz cutting knife. There we go. Gives me this thing, the advanced processing assembly. And now I'm just going to cook it. Quickly getting cooked here. And this gives me the ME advanced stuff, and I can finally create this thing, the ME controller. Alright, now I'm thinking where actually I want to place that. I think I probably would like to have this entire system be connected throughout my house. And since my actual connection is right here, let's have it right here then. Let's quickly rotate this MFSU to face up. Where's my Omni wrench? And place the ME controller here. You can see that it charges up. It has, there you go. This is also where you can see how much energy is being used. So right now I'm using 6 energy units per tick, and those 6 energy units per tick is not 6 industrial craft units, that's 6 applied Energistics units. And the conversion rates, I'm not sure what they are, but they're not that bad. Energy should start moving around. That means that this should start working every so often. Okay. And to this, I'm simply going to connect my ME chest. I can also replace this thing in here. And my access terminal. My access terminal lets me basically see everything in the system. So say I have some redstone gold here. With my access terminal I can see it, I can sort stuff out, so I can say just gold, redstone, so on. I can take from here, and I can store in here. And it knows how to interact with all my data chests and data disks in the network, and knows how to store everything in there. So that's that. I'm probably going to need some more terminals, but for the time being let's keep it right here. I'm starting to think of maybe moving this away from here. You can see that connecting the chest and the controller suddenly jumped to 10 units per tick, and you're starting to understand how this over time will grow. So yeah, starting to think about how I want this to look like. And actually, I need to figure out. I think starting with starting with the amount of quartz that I have right now will probably cause some problems when I think about it. Yeah, I don't want to do something halfway. Okay, so what I like to do to help my quarries get it faster, I come here and mine it myself using my pickaxe of the core with the enchant. Because of the enchant, I can usually try and get more output out of those crystal blocks. Let's see if I have some exposed of them here as well. Usually there are one or two in the walls. No, there we go. Here we have one. This kind of increases my produce a little bit, but not by much. Yeah. Okay, so quick tangent. You can see I'm wearing my goggles of revealing. I wanted to see what will be the effect of those trees, and it seems like first there is an ore node here. I don't know what's causing it. It wasn't here before. I guess that's something caused by the trees. My flux went down to minimal, but the maximum aura used to be like 400 something, and now it's 134. Well, the fact that there is now an ore node here, although it seems to be getting those evil flux lightning out of it, so it's not that great, I guess. But most definitely, getting from flux of dangerous with this giant red bold text into minimal is a lot better. Definitely. Okay guys, so unfortunately I just went a little bit or more information on the wiki and I realized that the amount of cores that I have is not close to the amount of storage that I'm gonna need. If I want to replace all the barrels here with storage, with the applied Energistics storage, the amount of cores that I'm going to need is kind of crazy. And if not crazy, at least it's a lot more than what I have right now. So I'm quite far away from it. However, one thing I do want to do before ending the episode is I realized that the Tesseract has a limit to the amount of energy that it can move around. And right now, I'm moving energy both for all those tiny little machines like my squeezer here and my rolling machine here and my alveoli fans here. In every place I'm moving just a tiny bit of energy. However, for my quarries, which consume a lot of energy, I also work on the same network. So I'd like to try and actually create one energy tesseract on a separate network, and actually should have, I made a couple of those spare. Let's quickly get rid of things that I don't need. So I can do stuff. Let's also store that thing. Okay, so let's create a separate network for my Buildcraft quarry, see if it actually helps make things move faster. So let's do it like this. This will be 2 frequency 2 called quarries plus. There we go. This is send only. And now at my quarries age 67, let's change those two receiving quarries to be on this frequency. And you can just, is it just me or did it just move faster? I think it was faster. Not imagining things, right? No, what, I don't know. The actual thing that I am really waiting for is for my red power quarry to actually finally hit unloaded chunks that weren't loaded previous to me adding applied Energistics, so I can finally start mining properly some quartz crystals with that quarry. Once my quarry actually reaches quartz crystals, then I can officially start doing stuff without any issues or worries that I won't have enough, because it's gonna find a lot of them. Alright, so I'm making my way to the quarry just to make sure that everything is working as intended. You can also start seeing all those torches at the moment are those that have been placed automatically together with the tracks, of course. So you can very nicely see that this thing has been progressing quite a bit since I made it. Yeah, I'm just coming here as usual to make sure that everything is fine. It didn't miss any blocks, and so far it seems fine. Still no quartz crystals in those walls, and there shouldn't be for at least a couple more chunks. I did again. I went for quite a bit. I force loaded those chunks previously before adding Energistics, just to make sure, just like I'm doing right now, that there weren't any of those things ahead. Now, obviously there is one here right now because I didn't get that far. So pretty much that chunk that I'm standing in right now, in theory, should already have the quartz. Because if I did force load it and I would have seen those pillars, I would have already taken them down. So I'm not that far away from it, but it's still going to take a while until I can actually get some proper quartz crystals. At least I started finally building the basic blocks of the network. I'm going to look further into how to expand on this network properly, and hopefully 1 or 2 episodes from now I could get started building it properly. So yeah, got started with the Energistics, not bad. So as always, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.